Hi, everybody, and welcome this evening to the lifting for July 25th, 2017. I am Joanna Michaels, and along with my co-host, Katrina Schaff, all the way from Arizona, and sitting right beside me, Christopher Stephen Jacobs. We wish to thank you for joining us, and we're so happy you all have been so loving and warm and kind to us with all of our shows and wonderful remarks and words of encouragement. And we just thank all of you. So tonight we are going to tackle the age-old question of why me? And as the blog said, I know we have all questioned ourselves throughout our lifetimes asking that. But before we get started, I want to go ahead and just make a couple of announcements. One of them is that we are going to be taking next week off, so there's not going to be a show on Tuesday, August 1st, nor will we do a Q&A on Thursday, August 3rd. We will resume the lifting shows on Tuesday, August 8th, and then the next Q&A is scheduled to be on August 17th. So again, no shows next week. We're going on a little bit of a hiatus. I also want to announce that we did participate in a holistic and spiritual expo in Norfolk, Virginia, and we posted the lecture that we gave. As we've said before, we are going to start our travels in mid-August, heading from the East Coast out to Arizona, with multiple stops along the way, visiting a lot of people and family. So we will be in such places as Chicago, Illinois, and Kansas City, Missouri for a little extended stay, but we'll also be passing through Indianapolis and Lincoln, Nebraska. And so we are telling all of you this because we would love to be able to meet with you or sit down and talk with you, or if people have a group that's interested, we would love to be able to do something similar that we did in the lecture on the expo and be able to do it face-to-face. So if you are interested in hosting such a get-together, just let us know, and then we will do everything we can to be there. And if you'd like to host one and have some friends but don't have a place that's big enough, I always say just remember your local libraries. They all have meeting rooms that you can just literally check out. Most do not have any charge associated with this, and we can all get together and talk. So for those on the West Coast, our goal is once we get settled in Arizona a bit that we are going to try to participate in local psychic fairs and doing a trip to meet some people throughout the West Coast as well. So if you're in the West Coast area and you know some psychic fairs, just kind of send them our way. We'll check them out and see if we want to participate in those. So right now, everybody's on mute. If we have time at the end, we will always open up the Q&A session for anybody listening live. But let's get on with it. So why me is our topic. We are going to ask Katrina to go first in this discussion. And before that, Katrina, if you do not mind giving the affirmation and blessing as well, and then just continue on with the discussion.
Okay, Joanna, thank you. The affirmation for tonight came from Joyous. Blessings are given to you daily. Accept them as gifts and give thanks for them. If you are dwelling on things that did not go right, you miss the highlights of that day. Good evening, everyone. When we discussed having this show on the subject of why me, I started having flashbacks of my life and realized how many times I have said this phrase for so many different things and reasons. Whether it is good or bad that has happened, we have a tendency to say, why did this happen to me? We either feel singled out or we do not feel we are worthy of it. Is it programming because we know when a good thing happens, a bad thing will follow, or at least we have been told that it does? We know things have to be in balance, so when something good happens, we naturally wait for the bad thing to arrive. It does not necessarily mean a bad thing is going to happen, but usually something happens to balance the issue and helps to center us. Since we have been led to believe that something will happen, we kind of accept that fact that something bad is coming instead of creating something happening that is positive to our growth and also enhances the good thing that just happened. It is not always an event that happens that we ask that question. We also ask this about where our life has taken us. As a little girl before school age, I asked myself this: why do I see things, know things, see colors around people, and see people in spirit that no one else sees? At first I felt normal until I was told that I was different and I should keep those things secret. Over the years I tried to steer myself onto another path and forget those abilities that I had. I did not want to be this way. I wanted to be like the normal person, or at least I was told I was not normal. No matter what I pursued in life, those abilities never went away. Then comes the question, why me? As I got older, I wondered if I had made some agreement with God, signed a contract, was in karmic debt, or was I given a purpose that was best for me? Did I bring this from the other side on a mutual agreement that was planned and thought out before I was born? I think it was. I do not really believe that it is a contract, but it is something that is mutually agreed upon on the other side. Now, once again, enters free will. You may have agreed to it, but that does not necessarily mean you will follow it. I do think of this: if this agreement is not followed, you will constantly be searching for your purpose, and you will not feel fulfilled in some ways. It has taken me years to realize what I am doing now is what I agreed upon and what I truly wanted to be born for. But it has taken many experiences and soul searching to realize that I was what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. If you're in a job and you're always asking yourself, why me, or what am I doing, then it's time to soul search those questions. If you're not doing the thing you are meant to do and you're not being your authentic self, you will ask these questions all the time. If you're constantly thinking about doing something else and you feel joy when thinking about it, just imagine how great you would feel if you're actually doing it. Take a leap of faith and know that if you are being true to who you are, the universe will support you the whole way. As life progresses and you experience many events in your life, you find yourself asking the question, why me, many times. The first time you have an accident that could have ended your life, or lived through a traumatic event, we ask that question. We also begin to realize that these things do not just happen to other people, but they also happen to us. Until you're involved in something serious like this, we tend to think those things happen to everyone else. We have seen it on TV, in the newspaper, friends and neighbors have had things like this happen, but we never thought it would be us. Is that being naive, or is that a form of self-preservation? It is much easier to think we are immune to these things. There are those events where everyone else dies and goes through something traumatic, and you were there and you were involved, but you survived and you were untouched by it. Then instead of accepting this as a blessing, we're now confronted with the thought of why them and not me, or survivor's guilt. Is it luck, karma? Is it random, an accident, or was it planned? Did you agree at some time to experience this, or was it just another event that was not planned, but it did help in your growth? I am sure many things happen during our life that pushes us in one direction and or guides us towards something we need to do and helps us to make choices that enhance our lives and furthers our purpose. It is then our choice to learn from them or bury them and not deal with it. Are we guided to the more positive outcome or made to look at the event to learn from it? Most likely it is someone guiding us to look at it and use the event to grow from. But we do have free will, and we decide what we take from it and where we go from there with what we have experienced and learned. They guide us, and we make the final choice. Another example is losing someone we love. We hear about it all the time, but the first or the second or each time we lose someone, we are faced with our own mortality and the fact that it is not, why did they die, or why do I have to experience them dying? It becomes a realization that someday it will be us and someone else will be asking, why them? Then questions about our life and death come up for us to look at and accept that we have a short time here to live. and a short time to fulfill what our heart's desire is. I have also pondered the question, and I know others do too, because I am asked this question a lot. Is there several times in our life that we could choose to die? Do we make our death date before we are born? For the first part, the question, do we have several times we can choose to die? I believe it's yes and no to that. Yes, I believe doors open at different times in our life where we can choose to leave this plane or not. It is called free will. We possibly, on a soul level, decide to continue for a while longer in order to complete our purpose that we have not yet achieved. There could be many reasons why we choose to stay. It could be because of not reaching our goals, a fear of dying, or feeling the time is not just right for the people we love. There's so many reasons why we may want to hold on. I do believe these choices run out, and we do run out of time. When that final door opens, the choice is not ours to make anymore. I feel when it is your time, whether or not you have completed everything you want to do or not, that last door closes. For the second part of this question, do we set our time of death before birth? I do not know about contracts. I do believe we come into this world with a specific purpose, as I mentioned before, and it is up to us to fulfill that purpose. But if we do not, that is okay too. I do not believe we are in any violation against any written contract. Again, it is all about our free will. As far as a set date, I do not believe this date is set in stone, but I do believe that a time comes when your time runs out. Then it does not matter whether or not you choose to go or whether or not your purpose has been met, because you're going anyway. I think our earth body struggles with death. Some fear death, and some, and most people, by what I hear, fear how they will die. Our soul does not struggle with this. It knows where it came from and where it is going. It is satisfied with the circle of life and knows that leaving this body is just part of that circle. Whether or not we completed everything we meant to do, or even if we did not fulfill what we thought we were meant to do, it does not matter. Our soul knows there is no judgment, and there is always another time to get it right. There are so many questions in life that we ponder and we worry about. The main thing is to create the outcomes of these questions in the way you want them answered, and do not always wait for the next event to happen or the shoe to drop. Balancing the good and bad that comes in our life is easy. Give thanks for the good, and know anything that comes along to balance the good is something you can survive and you can handle. Do not sit around waiting for anything negative, but enjoy the good that it was given to you because you earned it and you deserve it. The main thing I feel is that since we never know when something is going to happen, it is important that we do not put off the things we want to complete. We need to live each day and see the next day as being the best day ever. Do not put things off that help you succeed or help you fulfill your purpose. Even if you're not sure exactly what that is, just keep evolving and discovering who you are and what makes you happy when you're doing that. Clean house every day. It's never too soon to forgive others or yourself. It is always a good idea to make each day one you are proud of. Whether it is a battle you won or a task needed to be completed, make sure it is completed and it is something you are proud of. Do not wait until tomorrow to be a better person, but do it every day. Walk in the light and love one another. No matter what, that is always the best policy to follow. Then when an event happens or that day comes that there are no more days, then there are no regrets and you do not ask the question, why me and why now? I wish all of you the ability to create your future the way you want it, and to have the ability to accept life's events, knowing that you deserve the good things and you have the strength to face the difficult ones. Thank you for listening. Chris?
All right. Yeah, that was very good. All right. Down to my section. From what I can tell, in the end, there is always a reason or two or three as to why someone is here now in this expression. Will it always be about bringing in the new energies and the upliftment of the new learning curriculum? Well, no. Again, let me remind you that someone will choose to stay in 3D and still learn more about duality. which is fine. However, for many who listen to us on a regular basis, it is about moving into the new learning expression. I, for one, must admit that I want to know all the details, past, present, and am curious of the future. But do you need to in order to move forward? No, you do not. Again, we are all guided to push ahead at the speed that fits us. And as so with the level of memory you wish to bring forward at this time, yes, oppression wants to hold on and keep us from moving on. Most people I have run across on a professional level as well as a casual level, and I mean just scanning around the room that I'm in, need to be put through a car wash to clear themselves of junk accumulated over years and lifetimes. And some do wish to know the ins and outs as well as those who actively need to rewrite some old issues to keep it from interfering now. But if you never spend time with a seer to clear anything or look into past lives, you can you move forward? Of course you can. It just appears to me that those who engage in these more active methods move forward at a faster rate. Some even appear to catapult, which amazes me to see at times. When I wrote my first book, From the Fall to Lifting, it was really all about me. Yes. I had many channelings that would provide interesting thoughts and inspiration to many who read it, but the main story was about how things I had done in the past led to the fall of humanity, and I needed to look at them and heal them. This then gave me the opportunity to be here and now in a way to aid in the upliftment of humanity now. What has really become clear to me is how I am hang on, I got to reread that. What has really become clear to me is how I am just one drop of many people who have a similar story. It took a village to cause so many issues of our past. Many of us participated in dramatic and not so dramatic ways that all led to the same end. Poor choices that lowered humanity's vibration. And now we are back, knowing what we do not want to now bring in what we do want. This is really a cause and effect issue and not karma. Again, we are learning about ourselves and who we are by what we are not. So we had to have times of not so good or not being so good. This has happened to a lot of us. Nothing to be ashamed of, and no one is being judged. This is a part of it all. So let me share a story about a part of my past and how it affected me and how some of the relationships today. Again, I wish I could say it was an innocent, benevolent being at the moment, but what happened was that I believed certain concepts that led me to go further and further down the rabbit hole of believing I knew what was best and should rule. It was not in-your-face ugliness, but a path that made me dishonor others' paths more and more, feeling I knew what was best. And that is a key here. Sometimes it is not in-your-face evil, but it is a series of bad reflections that take you down a darker path. Now, I have this written in a notebook here. This was set in ancient Rome, actually. This was actually a dream that had taken place a couple of days ago, in fact, that I thought was perfect for this example. I was in a Roman bathhouse, and this is where they used to do a lot of their backdoor dealings and business dealings and such in that day, with several other people that were discussing issues of the empire, including my father today. I was apparently discussing business with him. I told him that he needed to leave politics for good. Apparently, in that time, he was a senator. I said that I could not be associated with one-sided politics. And in that day, they did have different parties, like they do now. He got mad as we entered a larger shower area, and it wasn't really a shower. It was more or less like a wall waterfall deal that was going on. It was like a cross-section room. And He said that he was getting sick of the gods' vague messages, but that he would comply. The thing is, and this is in that lifetime, I'm not speaking as myself today. The thing is that as a child, I was inducted in a group of seers in order to be trained by them. The gods had told them that I was special and needed the proper training. And so I went with them. And for years, I was trained by this school of seers. They all seemed to remind me of Merlin a lot. And that was important for what I'm about to say in a little bit. They trained me in the arts of reading people, healing people, and even, if necessary, manipulation. They believed that that sometimes it was necessary to save people from themselves. This is where I believe the church got their saving souls mindset from. I believe this was just a little before that. When I was older, I became more and more trusted for my abilities. I then noticed that I could steer the course of the whole empire with a well-placed word or two. As time passed, the powers grew to the point of being able to coerce women to sleep with me and each other, and this apparently applied to other people that were around me as well. These women were brought from all over the known lands, and I believe this is historically backed up as well. Black, white, all in between, all hair colors. It was in this time that, quote-unquote, the gods paid me a visit. A reptilian man and a spindly Assyrian, that would be a gray. Each, even though the reptilians were very pervasive in that time, this type of visitation seldomly happened. They then asked me if I wanted a crown of emperorship. When I said yes, the reptilian grabbed me as the Assyrian stood and stared at me. This is exactly what happens in modern-day abductions, where a gray will stare at somebody before a procedure is done, keeping somebody paralyzed. His eye pupils got large, and then I became paralyzed in place. While this was going on, the reptilian had put a golden and silver crown on my head. As it touched my skin, it forced metal cords down my back and throughout my central nervous system. The reptilians screwed something to my middle back. The Assyrian told me that this would make my abilities even stronger. I also was being told that this family line of mine in that time was reptilian, meaning that part of House M's expressions at that time were indeed reptilian. I would not have been capable or compatible, with the crown otherwise. It was a specific technological type. The royal family in England is the same way, I came to find out. And I found out the crown jewels are actually pieces of technology. That's a different story, though. This was the reptile king line and not the other line. I feel the Odin line were slaves to this line through a type of manipulation. When the procedure was complete, this is when the group of women managed to kill me. Someone else, a rival, a clan, or good guys, armed all of this harem with magic scepters, quote unquote, which could electrocute me only in the back. Let's see. Joanna, as well as several other women in my life, were part of this female grouping. This appeared in the current day as an energy leak in my back, which some entities that were coming around this place thought that I was freely giving energy away, even though these particular entities weren't negative. They thought I was wanting to trade energy because I had an energy leak that I knew nothing about. Okay. Same group of seers exist today as Cabal conjurers and masters of the now sacred mystery schools. That's the one and only time you're going to hear me slam something. The same Assyrians were influencing them to conjure more of them from their realm. The scene in the bathhouse echoed today as programming between my father and I. I had planned on influencing him out of politics, given what I knew, or what I know about politics today, but this is his learning experience. The same goes for Joanna and I, but surfaced as fear when nothing was happening to her from me or others. I believe my counterpart was manipulated into bringing all of the women to the Roman capital for the spindly Assyrians who have what are known as birthers. That'll be in another show at some point. This group of women were supplied arms from someone that had the same technological base. Once I went in and forgave myself and reversed the scene with the crown by killing both the reptilian and the Assyrian, my back wound vanished and the energy leveled. You may be asking why I have mentioned this tonight. It is because this is the reason for changers and levelers in our society today. An ancient wrong is righted by the energy being leveled and not just another pendulum swing to revolution. That's basically for full disclosure and such. Why, you ask? It is because, like me, you were there in the presence of the darkness overage and are here to assure a peaceful transition and not a violent one. This is why you may not only be attacked a lot by desperate bad guys that can also change and stagnate circumstance, but also may more than likely have people come to you for advice that do not know you. They may even give you very personal information as well. By helping them and yourself level, you leveled and still a very, very old pendulum whose cord now needs to be cut. And on with that discussion, Joanna, you want to take it from there?
Sure. So for me, I kind of would like to start by saying being a soulmate to this other one does not mean that you think exactly alike. I think that story, first of all, understanding, although I honestly have not dreamed about it, I do not have any memories of it. Chris told me about it and said that I was one of the ones to help put his life to an end at that time, and apparently even soulmates who come in and out in traverse times are not always thinking exactly alike. So I'm just putting that out there just in case there was some misunderstandings about soulmates. From what I understand, we are really balanced as a total whole, but we each have different levels of abilities and thoughts as being separate. And I say that again because I am the one who feels that I do not need to know all the details of the past, present, and future. I think I'm the one that seems to be more preoccupied with moving forward and untangling the ball of yarn and bringing in the new. And again, Chris, as he said, really likes to know everything about the past. Now, so for a while, I thought I was just dodging my own past because, if Chris had some bad ones, well, I know I was kind of close by, so I must also have them, and I just didn't want to see it. But after much reflection and consultation, I have realized that I actually don't care about it all. So in all honesty, I was pretty pissed, I'll be quite honest, to be having some of these memories. But now I understand more that there are some that need to be looked at and healed, as well as some that need to be looked at to provide information as to certain truths that humanity needs to be aware of. So in order to fulfill part of what I believe my mission is, I kind of accept those to move forward. The rest, I'll just remember someday when the veil lifts for good. And knowing me, well, I am sure I have been all over the place. So why me? Well, what has come back to me is that I have an important life mission interruption, let's call it. something I really wanted to experience but was corrupted or cut short. This was a time in ancient Egypt when the darkness came in and became institutionalized into our governments before Roman times and before Christianity and other religions took hold. And Chris and I happen to be in the midst of writing about those particular times right now. And again, I wasn't alone. There were many of us who were present at those times as well. So I believe that many of us have a life mission interruption, let's say, that has occurred, and now it is time to fix it. So to add what Chris stated from things we have spoken about before, we have all shared in negativity and falling. We have done it as individuals and as a society. We have done it and done it and done it, from Maldek and Mars to Atlantis and Lemuria to ancient Egypt to the Roman era to kings and queens to banksters and Nazis and the modern era. We have done that over and over again. We can claim victimhood and overage of oppression. Yes, we can. But we must also face the truth of duality. This was the learning curriculum. So we choose to be mad and angry at times, be judgmental and righteous, be cunning and manipulative, all without oppression as well. That is a fact that we must understand to untangle this ball of yarn. And in doing so, we were not always allowing the free will of others to flourish. So, as the overage of oppression is beginning to lift, why aren't we magically better? Well, it is because we have to choose the side of the dualistic coin we identify ourselves to be on and now live that way. So how do you define yourself? And then from everything in duality that you have learned, do your own words and actions match? If you define yourself as a happy person, do you live as a happy person? You should know now kind of the characteristics of one who is happy, right? If you say you are a kind person, then do you act in a kind way? I mean, we all know that the darkness is on its last leg. Well, then it's up to us. Can you actually bring it now? So this should scare many of us a bit. I mean, there will be no one else to blame. I need to be sovereign and free and allow others to be the same, the concepts of unity and love. I will not be able to blame anyone or anything for my moods. I will not be able to say that the whole world should just think as I do. I will not be able to demand everyone else act a certain way around me to fulfill my emotional needs that I should be fulfilling myself. And I have to accept as truth that all paths are sacred. I cannot drag someone else along, nor can I tell them to hurry up. I mean, how can I do that to someone else when I know how it feels not to be honored? So now I get back to a life interrupted. You see, many of us have not yet experienced this part of the learning curriculum, and we are not to be cheated out of it. From darkness to light. We have done dark over and over. Now it is time for the light. We are finally swerving in a new uncharted direction. Finally. We are all here to have the experience we have all earned. I am sorry that certain movements were also infiltrated to have you think you would be poofed into a new way of being instantaneously. It really pains me greatly because I see so many others in pain over it not occurring. But why would we miss all of the learning to understand how to transition? We wouldn't. We would not cheat ourselves that way. But here we go, finally, and I am actually so grateful. So if I could get everyone to just do one thing, it would be to just get over the why me. Just get over it. Do you believe in Source or not? Do you believe that Source makes horrid mistakes or not? If you believe in Source and that he does not make horrid mistakes, then just accept you are to be here and that you are vitally important to the movement into the next phase of learning. Just accept this into your heart and stop the endless programming that makes you continue to ask, why me? For those of you that can't, then get to a seer and find out specifically what is interfering. Just do it so you can move on. So I want to end my section by pointing out something and providing resolution. We and many others have all said that the darkness is pulling out all the stops to keep us from progressing. So what would you do to stop it, the progression? Well, I, for one, think hit it at its core. That would be a good strategy. And what is the core? Well, unity and love is the new core curriculum, right? So they show us as much difference as they can to keep from unifying and do everything to keep us from love. And I mean self-love, the first aspect that needs to be understood before true love of others, right? So if you think you have gotten rid of your prejudices, let's add in the awake versus the unawakened mentality to separate us too. Oh, and the darkness can at times block your guides, so you can really feel you are abandoned and unloved. These are just some of the new tools being used by the bad guys. So how do we combat this? You need to go back and reflect on a few facts and now really decide if you believe them or not. First off, do you believe everyone's path is sacred or not? And that is all I'm really going to say about that. Do you believe in this fact or not? The second fact is something you must, without question, know as fact. And that is, without question, you are loved. The source and the guides are with you always, seen or unseen. They all understand your ups and downs, and there is nothing they have not seen or most likely done themselves. You are not judged and abandoned. Any thoughts of the contrary are used and magnified and used against you at times to pull you off your path. And this is fact. So when you are feeling low, and especially alone, think of your guides and the source and know you are loved. Feel your love for them and remember how their love feels. In doing this, you will move into your heart space where darkness cannot go. This is what we are all learning right now. We are all learning this. We have been through all of this crap to now learn this. how to do this. And then we are unstoppable. And then we teach others to do the same. And then the world of magic arises again. And that's all I have to say. Chris, what do you think the Galactics have to say about this?
Let's see. Not too many here tonight. There's been several beings trying to interrupt tonight, but let's see here. Let's see. Okay. The only one that I see here with me tonight, other than a few I can't see very well that are sitting in the two chairs here, is Thomas. So I cannot see anyone else, so I will let him talk, even though he's been a pain in my butt this week. So let's see. Give me just a minute. All right. Give me a minute. Greetings, everyone. This is the one you know of as Thomas, or Shakespeare, as it were. In this particular conundrum you find yourselves in, this question of why me? Well, in this instance, why not? Because you are all special. You are all one with creation. So in this new energy, why not? Why me? Because in this particular instance of time, this new energy that you find yourselves in, there is also free will and choice. So the ones that chose to come in to either endure some struggle or change energy for the better with that struggle, or with a change in their genetic memory or change in energy, they all came in to change the very fabric of creation here on Earth. In that instance, it is actually Source wanting to know more about itself, yes, but also Source wanting to correct something about itself, seeing that it too had some flaws on its outer rim, so to speak. It wishes to change these particular happenstances. Source, long ago, dictated that certain energies would only have a limited time in play within this expression. This means the concepts of duality, for one. This means certain things must be shed. It is not necessarily what you think that it is, dear ones. It is indeed an overage of darkness, but the concepts of dark and light truly do not exist in the very fabric of which you believe them to be. So, in this instance, these energy changes that are coming in, that are changing from the ancient past to the here and now, are because of the very same people who brought a fall in the ancient past by bringing in a darkness that did not necessarily need to be around. So those people, per the concept you know of as cause and effect, must bring about a great lifting in this century. Technically, in virtually no time has passed since antiquity, and I will explain how. Since all time moves and flows as one, it breathes as one. All these events are happening simultaneously to each other. Some are other universes, others are other times. In this instance, everything is moving as it should be. In this sense, every heartbeat that is taken by your Earth Mother, every breath that is taken by your Sun, Helios, and every movement Source moves in the galaxy currently is indeed for a reason, even if it does not seem that way. Even though we see the very overages that we remove, there is always a reason that certain overages are indeed around. This is why Source asks us to collect them, because their purpose has not served any longer. It was a remnant of a time that no longer needs to be and no longer needs to hold weight in this century. So I will end this particular idea with a single thought for all of you. In your day-to-day, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you're asking the question, why me? Do not use what was known as ego when you answer this question, but look at yourself and say, why not? But do not do it with an arrogant flourish or a flourish of ego. Do it with heart space, as it is known, and that knowing that what you will do with the abilities that you are given in this new time of change will help to bring about the golden age of humanity. This is all that I have come to say this evening. Blessings to all of you. All right. Let's see if there's anybody else here. Anybody else chose to come in? I know there's someone here. I can actually feel them. Fairly large energy. So we will see who is wanting to come in. This feels elemental in nature. So we will see who it is. And I do believe this would be Epsilon that wants to come in. I got to make sure, because some monstrous tree being coming through the door does not necessarily mean it's Epsilon. So let's see. Oh, and he just went ha ha. So yeah, that is Epsilon. Okay. He looks like a Treebeard from Lord of the Rings, if anybody wants to know. So okay. Okay, now he's actually sitting down on the floor. Okay. And let's see what he has to say this evening. Dear ones, I am the one known as Epsilon, or the Nature Code. Tonight, what I have to say will be most poignant to the question you ask. Why me? And as dear Thomas said, I must also reiterate, why not? Because in the decree that the Nature Code has been given, as you would say, by that of Source, and that of the ever ebb and flow of nature's code, I must say that in the terms of why me, I can honestly say that in instances of more universal history, the why me is more easily asked and more easily comprehended when you know aspects of the ancient past. In times past, there were planets that have come and gone, civilizations that have risen and fallen. In those instances, they were always paired up with other planets that either had dwindling civilizations or a dying world, and they were always moved in some way to either another world or paired either landmass-wise with pieces of a dying planet to one planet, or the people paired with the people of that planet. Therefore, either animals, nature, plants, or people were always paired, so nothing ever truly died. In this particular instance, those souls remembered the great fall and great cataclysm that they created on those other worlds. This is why humans today have dreams of great cataclysms, explosions, and the like. It's not just Mars and Maldek, folks, and it's not just Atlantis and Lemuria. No, this is much more and much more galactic and universal than what you once ever thought. These other planets had pieces of themselves brought here to Earth. Not all were dying, however. They even brought elements of their own civilizations here to your world to add to the land masses of your ever-growing planet. These were not always dying worlds. Some were thriving and still thrive with very, very lucrative and very, very expansive civilizations and mindsets. They wanted to bring their ideas to your world, so therefore they elected people to come into the illusion. Some had different ideas than other cultures, and some did indeed clash with some of the cultures of other worlds that had lost their world. In this instance, you have a melting pot of all of these cultures nowadays. So, with this melding and melting pot of DNAs, some of these purposes have been drowned out by all of the riffraff and the like that take place on your world currently. So, when you look in the mirror, you will see thousands of ancient civilizations because there are thousands of ancient base codes and strands of DNA that run through all the billions of people that now occupy your world. Just remember, most of your DNA comes from elsewhere, and most of your missions come from elsewhere. You came in to balance this world of many, many people and many, many colors and many. Nature is on the march. You are all part of nature's code in some fashion or in some degree. You may not hold my emblem of Epsilon, but you are all one with nature's breath and nature's code. So, in this instance, when you ask the question, why me? Ask another question that is most poignant. Where did I come from? Why did I come from there to here? And most importantly, how can I apply that to the present day? History does not always matter, folks, but there are some times in which it does, but only if it is grounded in the present day and has a use for the present day. If not so much, then it can fall by the wayside. Thank you all, and blessings. Okay, let's see here. Let's see who else is here. Seeing someone else sitting over in this chair over here. Not too sure who this is. Whoever this is has a, I don't want to offend this being, but doesn't look very proportionate to a human look. So I'm guessing this being is a plant being. Okay. I don't want to offend this being again, but he kind of resembles a Muppet. And everybody else kind of laughed. Okay. Oh, wait, there's more people in here. I heard many laughs in here. So he kind of looks like a little bit of a Venus flytrap, but a person shape with two like googly eyes on top. Yeah, and the others had a good laugh out of that too. Okay. Let's see who you are here. Oh, he's part of nature's code as well. Oh, he doesn't mind that he's being poked at. Okay. Oh, you wanted to come around back at me. Okay. There are some that come into your civilization to conduct change on your world. I am from an area that was once known as the Burning Zone, now known again as the Garden of Eden. My people once had a flourishing civilization that occupied a planet far from here. We landed on this world many ages ago and became corrupted by those you know of as the Assyrian species, also known as a future kind. In that time, our purposes became askewed by a corrupted timeline. Therefore, it was quarantined and called the Burning Zone, or entered into your mythology as hell on Earth. In this particular time, now that we talk, this area has been healed and been turned into the garden it once was. In this interim and in this particular moment in time, my people flourish once again, and also can honestly say that people that have certain abilities in your here and now are here to balance such large-scale areas, even with a thought. Dear Epsilon brought me forward to represent my people. In this instance, my name is unpronounceable to your human tongue, but I will say this. My people act as a collective genome, meaning our plant chlorophyllic type DNA, as you would say, expands us as a mass consciousness. When that mass consciousness was corrupted, it began to spread to many different parts of your planet outside of the Burning Zone. This is why the House of M warriors had to help destroy these different corrupted aspects, even if it infected one of their own. In this particular instance, it took I and Epsilon many days of strength and prowess, as you would say, to help undo these different patches of Earth. now no more, and now no more corrupted in this particular expression. So, in the instance where you ask, why me? Just know that you are at a point in your history that you are here for a reason, and here to change the course of history from one that is no longer a disaster to one that is of a particular golden age, as you would say. The one thing that I will say further on this subject is my people are actually eternally grateful for this particular burning zone and its inhabitants now having become they never were. So if you hear of anyone trying to communicate from any sort of earthly prison, as it were, outside of your normal zone or spectrum, just know it is communication from outside your world and not within the zone you once called burning. It is now known as Eden in your tongue and shall be known from this point hereafter as such. I will leave you to this thought this evening. Blessings. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, he was actually a fairly easy channel. And I know the instance of what he spoke of, and once I get the recording for that particular conversion from the burning zone and to the Garden of Eden, I will let everyone hear that. So, let's see, is there anyone else that wants to speak? No, there's a ton of you in here now. I just saw you. Okay. Thanks to the plant man over there, he revealed all of them. Okay. But they're kind of fuzzy, so I'm going to see who is. Well, look at who we have here. We have Michael. Okay. I couldn't hardly see you there for a second. Okay. Let's see what you want to say to everyone. Make sure it is profound. Thank you. Okay. And he's like, ha ha. Okay. Good evening. I will keep this brief. I am Mikhail. I am the one known as the protector of this world. In this particular day and age you find yourselves in, I have been told that there is a question of why me. In this instance, there are several of you out there in the expanse of your world and beyond that are connected to so very much and such a vastness in creation that there are elements and expressions of yourself that are under constant siege and constant attack. In those say to all of you that are within the sound of my voice and can hear every word that I say now is this. In the instances of major attacks by these Assyrian beings and creatures, they can morph and exist in multiple realities, even though they are spindly and they are weak, to say the least. Their particular technology can expand through the cracks of time and space, and have in ancient times. The ones that have awoken in this time, however, actually do morph in and out of certain dimensional layers. Their capabilities are limited, but their capabilities are also destructive. So, in the instances of this, you must at all times adhere not only to your heart space and your soul's work and knowledge, you must adhere to your intuitive prowess, you must adhere to your, as you would say, instincts, as it were. Many across the face of your globe are experiencing such hardships at the whims of these particular beings. Yes, I have spoken of these beings before, but I must reiterate one final thing and final thought. Know that in this particular space you call the heart space, and linked with your sight or mind and, as you would say, creativeness and creative capabilities, there is an ability that these particular beings lack beyond their prowess for manipulation, hatred, and anger. These particular beings will try everywhere at once to exist within the minds of everyone on this world. They are losing their grip on reality. because their intelligence does not span to the heart space. Their intelligence is a factor of nothing. Their species, as it were, no longer holds weight in the hearts of ourselves. However, you do not need to make the same mistakes that we once did, everyone, in the old wars of attrition. No, no, no. Do not make the same mistakes. Yes, we are saying defend yourselves if these beings show up. We are not denying this. We are saying that the wars of old are not yours to fight. The wars of our forefathers are not humanity's problem. In this instance, we are saying, allow us our time, and we will help these beings along to the hereafter. We will also help you be more in your present moment, if you wish. The wars of our forefathers and the wars of ours are not for humanity's time. That time has come and gone. Now celebrate a time without fighting in aggression, fighting in offensive postures. Create a new future and a new present for yourselves by laying down the old swords and picking up one of joy and happiness and creativity. Yes, the sword still has its function, everyone. However, it is out of defense that it be drawn, and it is out of defense that a shield on your arm be drawn. This does not mean that it goes away completely, and this does not mean that the warrior fades into dust. No, I myself am such a person. However, we are saying this to you now as members of House M, that you must draw a different sword of multi-colors and multi-facets in order to win the day, as it were, against these particular not-so-sovereign beings. The sword is drawn from your heart space, and it does not have a definite shape. It has whatever shape your creativity and your imagination can conjure. Your creativity and your choice and your loving thoughts are most paramount. These are things that these beings cannot comprehend. They have lost this capability over the centuries. This is what I will have to say this evening on this particular subject. I am Markael, and I am the current defender of this world. Thank you. All right. All right, let's see. All right, we're past time already, everyone. So, with that, I will get to the last thing here. I have written it down. Give me just a second. There we are. This is one that I wrote myself earlier. May the life you live reflect the path and direction that you are truly meant to be living. No overages. And that was one I wrote earlier. So, with that, if my mother doesn't have anything else to add, Joanna can go on to the announcements.
Nothing more, Chris.
Okay. Joanna?
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. And as always, just a few announcements. We will not have any shows next week. We will resume on Tuesday, August 8th, and then our next Q&A will be on Thursday, August 17th. So feel free to visit our website, thelifting2017.wixsite.com/thelifting. There's a lot there if you are looking for something to listen to. And if you have a question about anything, please forward them to thelifting2017@gmail.com. We've already started our next collection for the next show, so thank you for everyone who has submitted it so far. If you do need help from Asia, Chris, and Katrina can hopefully help you. Just go to the website and click on the Appointments tab. And always as a reminder, they will not go over a 2-hour reading in one session. So we hope everybody has a nice week. We intend on having a nice little hiatus. And we will see you guys week after next. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.